Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by TaylorMade.
Time now for another edition of Alternate Shot. And this time, we say hello to our West Coast Bureau Chief, Jeff Shackelford, who's examining every crack and crevice. He's our spot-on reporter this week from Torrey Pines. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you, Trev. Good to be here. Good to be back on the West Coast.
You got it. All right, Jeff, let's get right into it. Tiger and Rory both in action this week. Who will have a better weekend? Go.
Well, you're giving me a lovely couple of options there. I mean, Rory, T5 here last year, first time at Torrey Pines. And then that Tiger guy's won 14 tournaments here, 8 as a professional. But Tripp, I got to say, I don't think it's a lock that they're both making the weekend. There's a lot of rough out there. If the drivers aren't dialed in, a miscut's not out of the realm. But I'm going to go with Tiger. I don't think he's too rusty after that President's Cup performance. How about you?
Boy, I tell you, it's tough to pick against either of them. How about this? How about a playoff between Tiger and Rory? That's what I want to see now. And I tell you,
that would be sweet.
Yeah, it would be sweet. Hey, we can hope for the good story. We can at least hope for that. But look, I think they're both going to play well. I think they're both going to definitely play the weekend. Tiger Woods is such a different Tiger than the last 2 seasons that he played here, and he still shot under par a couple of years ago, hitting 9 fairways the last 3 rounds. He shot under par and only finished 7 shots back of the winner. So Tiger Woods in this place, he doesn't have to hit it in the fairway. He's hit it in the fairway more often. And when he does, it's just not a fair fight because as talented as Rory is with his irons, and he is, I think Tiger, when he's playing from the fairway, is just slightly better. And I think that's what's going to give him the edge over Rory this week. But again, I'm rooting for a playoff, Jeff, between those two.
Hey, you mentioned a playoff, Tripp. We just watched one that took 7 holes to complete, and they played the same hole over and over again. Gabby Lopez, great win in the Diamond Resorts Tournament of Champions. But Tripp, come on, you're commissioner for a day. This playing the 18th hole over and over again, it's happening in all of professional golf. What would you do to fix this?
This was just an anomaly. Now, here at that golf course in particular, the 18th hole, there is a bridge. There is a bridge that is just a long way from the rest of the golf course. There's a big separation. So they would lose the atmosphere there. They had music playing during the tournament. Look, this was an anomaly, and I'm just going to ignore it. Now, I know the LPGA's had some long playoffs, Kings Mill a couple of years ago. But you know what? I was part of one on the Korn Ferry Tour a couple of years ago, not participating but covering it, that went over 9 holes. So I think it's an anomaly. I don't think there's a true fix unless you go away from sudden death, and I want sudden death. I definitely don't think it was the same hole because, Jeff, really this last week on that 18th hole, there was a lot of bogeys. There was a lot of double bogeys. And remember, NB Park, one of the best players in the game, she was outed on the 3rd hole. So they just kept hitting quality shots on a difficult par 3, part of the reason why they were in that playoff.
Yeah, I'm over sudden death, Tripp. I'll be honest with you. You know, we've seen this in a lot of tournaments. We're going to play the 18th hole because that's where the people are. You know what? Aggregate playoffs have worked beautifully in the major championships. 2 holes. You're playing for so much money now in professional golf, and there's so much on the line with a title. What's the big deal of going back to 17 and playing those last 2 holes, and then you can go into sudden death? But playing the same hole over and over again, that's brutal. That's just not right for the fans or the players.
All right, we'll agree to disagree, Jeff. Now, it's Jack's 80th birthday. Happy birthday to the Golden Bear. What's your favorite Jack Nicklaus memory of all time?
Well, if it's a memory trip, obviously it's the 1986 Masters. I mean, maybe his greatest moment was a concession in 1969 to Tony Jacklin, but I was at the 1986 Masters. I've memorized the telecast. To me, it's just the greatest moment in the history of the sport. It's Jack's greatest moment. He is a gift that keeps on giving. I love all this celebration of his birthday. 86 Masters, easily.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. I also love 77 at Turnberry with Tom Watson. I mean, he's one of the greatest sportsmen of all time. I mean, even when he lost, 46 times in the top 3. It's just impressive stuff in major championships, 18 wins. But Here's the thing. I think the statute of limitations has run on this, so I'm going to give you a little secret. Don't tell anybody, Jeff. But back when I was in college, I worked at a course that Jack Nicklaus designed called Elk River in Banner Elk, North Carolina. He was there with an exhibition, and I was there working my job in the summer. Well, I had Mr. Nicklaus's clubs, and there was a helicopter down on the range, and they put me in charge of taking his clubs down to the range. And he was doing a news event that took a couple of hours. So I am in college, a young man with Jack Nicklaus, the clubs that just won the Masters a couple of years ago. I'm there with that bag. What do you think I did? Of course I hit his clubs. I hit every club in the bag. I'm sorry, Mr. Nicklaus. I didn't scrape them up. I didn't do anything. I hit them in the middle of the club. But I tell you what, that was special to hit the Golden Bears golf clubs. That sure was. So forgive me, Mr. Nicklaus.